What is up everybody, Heart and here bringing you guys another video of Road to Perfection on Flash. So I know I haven't posted this in a really long time. I think it's been almost a month now, maybe even over a month, but yeah, it's been a really long time. And because of that, the games in this video, I actually played these a long time ago too, so basically over a month. Yeah, it's been that long since I played these games. And so, you know, I've basically forgotten what I did in a lot of these games, so I mean, don't expect you to memorize every single game accurately, because I actually don't remember a lot of these, and I actually don't know which towers I have unlocked, all that stuff, because I haven't played this in a long time, and that's because, you know, I wanted more variety in this channel. I didn't want to just do Road to Perfection on Flash every single video and make you bored of it. So, you know, just about that. And yeah, that's basically it, so let's get into the gameplay. So in this first game we're on Inkblot, and as you can see, I get a Ring of Fire on round 8, and my opponent does not, but my opponent has a Glaive Ricochet, so that will be enough to defend any group balloons up until round 13 or round 12, where I can send Camel balloons. So I get my Mortar to defend any camels my opponent decides to send me, but I can send any Camel Rush that I wish to my opponent, including Camel Lead, Camel Region Rainbows, but my opponent will send any rush to me, and I choose not to send a rush to my opponent yet, because my opponent has a pretty decent amount of Camel Popping Power, but instead I send some ceramics, and those ceramics easily demolish my opponent. So next game we're on Mondrian, and my opponent is pretty decent. I mean, average win-loss, I guess. But you know, win-loss doesn't matter. I think I've said that enough times for you to understand. Win-loss doesn't matter. It's just to show off, but really, even when you show off, it's not something big to show off about, because it doesn't really determine your skill. Anyway, so my opponent starts off with ninjas, which is not a great idea unless you get a double shot really early, and even if you get a double shot early, then that's pretty expensive, and so that's gonna make you get a low income early on, which can hurt you in the later game. So I get up a cluster bomb and a ninja to defend any pinks or anything else my opponent sends at me, and for round 6 I will have to get up another 0-0 ninja right at the bottom just to pop the black layer off any black balloons my opponent decides to send against me. So right now, my opponent is pretty vulnerable to green balloons because his defense really can't defend group balloons that well, and I send it and my opponent is really low on lives, and I mean really low. So on round 8, a quick yellow rush should be able to take down my opponent. So will I send the yellow rush? Yep, I just send all out yellows and my opponent should die right there. So good game. Anyway, I see if there's any good towers that I should unlock, but not yet. I don't have any towers unlocked. And as you can see, I still don't have farms unlocked yet. So, and actually, I don't have them unlocked in the video, and currently I haven't even played on this account for a long time, so I haven't even used farms on this account yet. So, I don't have farms, so I will have to use balloon income and defend more than I rush, because it's better to use farms to rush than balloon income, unless you somehow really know how to rush, but I really don't know that many players, or any players that can rush better with balloon eco than farm eco, except maybe Nigatin, who doesn't really use farms that well. But I don't know, I'm getting off topic here. Anyway, my opponent is losing, well, my opponent lost some lives to blues and pinks, but as I said, a double shot ninja should be able to effectively defend. So my opponent sends some greens, and I actually struggle, and I have to get him my third Buccaneer, which actually does waste a little bit of money for me, because I should have just gotten that Ring of Fire straight away, and I just sent a ton of yellows to my opponent, and my opponent dies. If you look closely, my opponent tried to send something against me, but it didn't work. Anyway, look, we have a pretty good opponent here, and this opponent knows me, so this is going to be a really fun match. It's on Volcano, but the thing is, I don't have farms. I feel like I will be playing so much better here if I have farms, because I have never ever used balloon income on Volcano, so I am not experienced with it at all. So hopefully my opponent tries to show some mercy on me, but you know, I'm not asking for it. So anyway, as you can see, I lost a few lives and my opponent has farms, so my opponent is probably going to be the one rushing and I'm going to be the one defending in this game. So I get up my Ring of Fire on round 6 just to be safe. You know, I didn't want to get up a ninja and leak more lives. I just want to be safe so I can just build up more income. I don't want to be too greedy. And really, I'm just sending some whites and blacks, hoping to make my opponent leak a little bit. Not really working, and you can see how many farms my opponent has gotten up. That's a pretty decent amount of farms. And meanwhile, I'm just sticking with my balloon income, which is it's pretty average for this map. Could be better, actually. Could be a lot better. And anyway, on this map, one Ring of Fire and one Murk can't defend an all-in regenerating rush. So I'm just getting up I'm just holding a cannon in case my opponent tries to send anything, but my opponent won't. So I just get up a frag cannon and a few ninjas on strong to pop off the ceramic layer of any ceramics my opponent decides to send at me. So look at my opponent's side. He has a lot of farms, but the thing is that he's slightly vulnerable to zebras and blacks and rainbows because cannons can't pop blacks all too well. So both of us are basically are ready to defend any Moabs, and my income at the moment, it's okay. Could be better actually, but you know, I've never played on this map with Bloon income, so I probably play this game horribly. If you're a regular Bloon income player and you're watching this, I probably just play this absolutely horribly. But anyway, my opponent already has a 4-2 farm, and that's really fast. And on Flash there isn't even a farm glitch to get a 4-2 farm that fast. So props to him, and 2 4-2 farms, so that's really fast. So now that he's getting up a ton of farms, he has a lot of money. So I'm worried that he might rush a little bit. So that's why you can see I'm saving up a little bit of money. I'm saving at least $4,000 in case my opponent decides to rush. But it looks like no rush is about to come, so I'm just continuing my income. And as you can see, my opponent is struggling a little bit against the zebras and ceramic, but with those 3 cluster bombs and 4 ninjas out there, he should be perfectly fine. But as you can see, my opponent is getting up a lot of farms. Now, to be honest, I think he should have gotten a few more earlier on, but that's basically the average amount that you need on Volcano. Actually, I think you need 6 farms off 5, but still, that's a lot better than the income I have right now. My income is just pathetic, let's be honest. But okay, I'm just gonna get up a few more maulers, and my opponent looks like he was very close to leaking and did leak a bit, but not that many boons actually went through. So I'm getting ready to defend a rush because actually as you can see, I just stopped my income completely because my opponent will have to rush. Because with farms, you get a lot of money, but with only 3 towers, it's kind of hard to defend. And there, you can see my opponent is sending a lot of ZOMGs. Now, I'm going to be honest, 2 things I have to be honest about. Number 1, I think I absolutely failed at defending this. But number 2, my parents were calling me over and over at this moment. I remember this. My parents kept calling me over and over. So that was a reason that my micro was horrible here. But either way, my micro is always horrible. So I feel like even if my parents didn't call me, I would have done better. But I still would have lost. But my opponent decided to be really nice and surrendered. So you can go ahead and call me a cheat for having my opponent surrender or whatever. Go ahead and call me that. I'll take that as a win. But I know I technically should have lost there. But hey, if my opponent is nice enough to give me a win, then I'll take that win. Anyway, we're on indoor pools, and my opponent is going for a 0-0 ninja strategy. If he doesn't upgrade any of those ninjas soon, he will just completely die to reds. And as you can see, he's really struggling with reds, down to 100 lives. And I have my taxpayer up to basically defend almost any blues or pinks, but I do have to upgrade my ninja a little bit more. And my opponent's gonna die right. No, he survives, but he's gonna die right here to the blue and pink layering. So really short game right there. And we're about halfway through the video, and I'm just looking to see if there's any upgrades that I want, but I couldn't really find any, and I just decided to just stick with the farm. And whoa, my goodness, this person has thousands upon thousands of games to play. I mean, thousands of games to play. So, but because his win-loss record wasn't that good, I would assume that he just doesn't play seriously. Because I assume that he's probably a good player, because, you know, he's played a lot of games, he's probably gained a lot of experience, but he probably just likes to have fun and doesn't like to go serious all the time. Well, I'm just going for a perfect record, so looks like I'm being a tryhard. I guess I am. Doesn't really matter in my opinion, but go ahead and judge. Anyway, it's round 5, and I have 2 Buccaneers, which should defend all blues and pinks, unless the Buccaneers miss. But really, right now, lives don't matter. It's not King of the Hill, where most lives wins on round 40. There's no rules like that here. It's just regular quick battles, and we can play however we want. So, I'm still building up my income, and I have to get up a Bernie Stuff Mortar on round 8 to defend against any yellows. So my opponent gets up 2 farms, but he decides to go 0-0 farms before he upgrades, which I don't know why, but I mean, if that's how he wants to play, go ahead. Anyway, I just save up a little bit of money to get up a Ring of Fire for round 13 in case my opponent rushes, and I get up anyway because I want to be safe rather than sorry in this Road to Perfection series, because if I end up losing, the entire series is over, and I really don't want that. So anyway, it's round 15, and if my opponent decides to send Camel Ceramics against me, I might die to those, because the Buccaneers can't pop Camels, the Ring of Fire can't pop Camels, and the Mortar might miss Camels on a map like this, because the map, there's no good curves to target a Mortar at. Anyway, it's round 18, and I started saving up a little bit just to defend against any Moabs that my opponent might send against me. And if my opponent does send a Moab, I also will have to get up a ninja, a distraction ninja, to distract the ceramics. Now, distraction ninjas slightly depend on luck, but usually, as long as you place them in a good spot, they should distract any ceramic that you want to do. So, round 23, the natural Moab comes out, so I'm forced to get up that ninja, and preferably a Bloons Jitsu ninja, because Bloons Jitsu ninjas will basically distract all ceramics, and I do get up a Bloons Jitsu ninja, and I defend that first natural ceramic successfully. So, round 24, my opponent seems to be going mixed income. Not the best idea, but I do see how it can work. But really, ideally, you should probably go only farms or only Bloon income, because if you go both, then it's like you just have decent amounts of both, and you don't have superior amounts of income overall. So, I mean, just pointing that out. And I got up another Bloons Jitsu ninja because more and more Moabs are coming out, so I need to distract more and more ceramics. So my opponent seems to be struggling a lot, even though he has all those Moab Maulers, and it looks like a lot of Bloons are going through. And even with all those Moab Maulers, my opponent is really struggling right now. So it's round 29, and all those Bloons are getting far. And round 30 is the BFB round, so I will have to get up a Monkey Pirate to easily just pull down that BFB, which I do right there. And round 31, a lot of Camel Bloons and a lot of Moab, so my opponent seems to be really struggling right now, while I'm just doing fine with my Ring of Fire, Ninja, and Buccaneers. So Moab Maulers on this map, they're okay, but I feel like Bloons Jitsu ninjas do better because you can fit more of them. And as long as you have a lot of money, you can basically fit more of them than Moab Maulers. And as you can see, a lot of Bloons are getting far on my opponent's side, and my opponent died to the round 33 natural Bloons. I believe it was round 33. But anyway, we're on the same map in this game, and this time it's against an opponent who has a negative win-loss ratio. So we'll see how this goes. Anyway, I do the same strategy as last time, the Buccaneer strategy, and my opponent also has farms. So, you know, farms. Well, I like to use farms more to Bloon income, but that doesn't mean farms are better than Bloon income. I just prefer them because I like to attack more than I like to defend. Because as bad as I am at attacking, I'm worse at defending. I'm just worse at defending than attacking. So, yeah. Anyway, it's round 5, and my opponent can actually defend basically anything that I send. The black Bloons will be obliterated by the attack shooter. The green Bloons will be demolished by the lightning wizard. And round 8, even if I send a lot of yellows, I would need a lot of yellows to get them through. So my opponent tries to send some yellows at me, but it's not enough to make me even leak a life. So I get up my Mortar just to be safe, because if I don't have a Mortar and my opponent goes completely all out on yellows, I will probably die to that. So I'm just gonna get up a attack shooter, just like last time, to defend against any region rainbows. And my opponent is actually doing really well despite his negative win-loss record. He basically has a good defense for region rainbows, a good defense for camel region rainbows, a good defense for camel anything, a good defense against ceramics, and almost a good defense against Moabs, though he will need a few more wizards or ninjas to defend against Moabs. But I don't even want to risk sending a Moab. Oh, now he basically has a good Moab defense with that Fire Mage. Because I believe that Fire Mage and the Bloons Jitsu combined can defend any Moab I send. But meanwhile, I can't send. My defense is okay. I will have to upgrade my ninja a little bit more. I will probably have to get out a few more Buccaneers just to defend any Moabs. And if my opponent sends BFBs, that will be bad, because I'm going to have to sell a lot of the Buccaneers to get up Monkey Pirates. And if I get Monkey Pirates and buy and sell them, that's going to make me lose a lot of money. And soon I'm going to run out of money. But yeah, my opponent has a lot of good defense. But the problem with my opponent's defense is that he lacks income now. Whoa, what? He died to the natural Moab. Wow. So it looked like he had a good defense, and actually he did. And I saw him successfully defend all the balloons, but apparently he didn't, and he died. So that's why I'm talking about distraction luck, because on my screen it looked like the ninja distracted all the ceramics from the mobs fine, but apparently they didn't. It didn't. So you know, sometimes distraction just depends on luck. And now we're on pyramid steps, and we're getting towards the end of the video if you haven't noticed. So will I reach 50 NO? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, when I reach 50 NO, I will have 500 battle score, and that means that I have farms unlocked. So that's a pretty big deal, because I've been using Bloon income this entire series up until this point, and if I get 500 battle score, then I can unlock farms. So that's going to be a huge plus for me, because I prefer farms over Bloon income. Anyway, my opponent has a Ring of Fire, and actually that's a pretty decent spot in my opinion. But the problem with that is that regions might regen more with that spot. Not a huge deal, but if I decide to send a ton of regen rebuild, and when I say a ton, I mean $20,000 worth, then yeah, that's gonna happen. And then my opponent disconnects. Wow. So if you guys watched the video a few episodes back of this Road to Perfection on Flash, one time my opponent disconnected on me too. And what happened was that it said, what is it? You have timed out. Yeah, I believe. Yeah, see, it says you have timed out. So last time I refreshed the page the same as I did, but last time instead of gaining a loss, which you usually do when you get timed out, I gained a win somehow. So this time, let's see what happens. I actually don't remember how many losses I had prior to it, but no. See, here it said that I didn't gain a win or a loss, and I thought that was pretty suspicious. So I reloaded the page again, and I just wanted to see if I actually did gain a win or a loss, because normally you get one or the other, and it said that I didn't get any. So yep, and would you look at that, it went up from 47 to 48, so I did get a win there. Yeah, because when you enter a battle, you either get a win or a loss. You can't just not get anything. You either get a win or a loss. That's how it works. So I kept refreshing the page because I wasn't convinced that nothing happened, because you either get one or the other. So I'm 48-0 now, 2 wins away from 50-0, which isn't a huge milestone. I mean, to some of you it probably is a huge milestone, but you know, some players have gotten 250-0, 500-0, and yeah. But overall, I think I feel pretty successful about this, because you know, players like Super Don Bombo, I think he tried to do this once, and after 100 games he lost 8 games or something, and that was in mobile quick battles, which I believe is harder than flash quick battles from my experience. So I'm just throwing that out there. Anyway, my opponent is down to 51 lives if I'm correct, but I can't see that well because my screen is tiny. And round 6, I'm sending some greens, and greens might do damage to my opponent. It looks like they do, and I win that game rather quickly. So we are on the last game. Will I lose right here? My opponent is decent, and this is actually an interesting map, because this map, some other person, Saiteha, I believe, yeah, he lost on his road, on his undefeated series on this map. I think he was 200 something wins. I don't remember, I apologize, but he lost on this map after like 200 wins or something. But that was a pretty impressive run by him. It's not easy to get 200. Well, it is easy to get 250 wins as long as you know what you're doing. But if you sort of if you're just too greedy, or you're too defensive, or you somehow face like the best player in King of the Hill or something, you'll probably lose. But as long as all these factors go right for you, you should probably get those 100 wins and 0 losses pretty easily. But anyway, as you can see, the video is almost over, and what am I going to do to win this game? I'm going to send some yellow balloons, I believe, and those yellow balloons will defeat my opponent. So leave a like if you enjoyed, and have an awesome day.